Hey guys, Matt from Soundrolling.com. So, second day since I've been back in London and already been at work today, just doing kind of interviews and things, and just wanted to kind of touch on, I guess, kind of metadata and sound reports and what I use and what's kind of useful and what I think is useful for post-production and what people ask me to kind of do as well. So first thing, I guess, is just track naming. Track naming is usually like the slate, followed by the take. Sometimes on some narrative stuff, I'll do the scene and then the slate and then the take. But in the UK system, slates are the main thing that go up and never change. US system, you can obviously find that you'll have you'll have the slate start again with a different scene. If you want more information on that, I'll talk about that in a separate video. And it's also on the app. If you've got the app already, just look under cameras and slating. So what else I do? For wild tracks, for instance, what I'll do is I'll still keep the same slate number, but I'll just add a W. And so it'll end up, the full file name, if it was take 1, would be the slate. So let's say slate 1, W, and then it'd be T01. So it kind of already kind of spells out wild track as well, which is useful for post-production. And I find that then even with room tone, I'll do an R or an RT, and then I'll know that that's room tone, but I'll also know what slates I took that room tone on, if you see what I mean. Same with any wild lines, and then you can get a better sense of, firstly, it's going to be easier to find, because if you do everything in order of when it was actually taken in terms of like time code, then any scene that you're working with, you just know that within the rushes, you don't have to go to a separate folder and all that kind of stuff. In terms of folder structure, I do just daily folders, and just whatever's in the day, then that's what it is. And then I have a main project file. I've started now doing, instead of the actual date, on the sound devices you can do you can either name the subfolder. You can have 3 different levels, but essentially this main folder would be the project name. The second one I call like day 1, day 2, day 3, or if it's a pickup day, for instance, or anything extra like that. And then I don't split anything by scene or slate, just because even within a day folder, they're still going to easily be able to read the take information and just see what scene they're looking for. And you can kind of then in post-production do bigger things. You can put everything all together. People can search. It's going to be just as easy to kind of find, really. Track names are really useful. So naming not only what is a boom, but what is the boom. So if it's 416, then I'll put the 416 as the title. It'll be like boom 416. Or if there's a couple of boom mics, then it'll be the different type of mic, or if it's a boundary mic, for instance. And for the lavs, then I try and do them in order of the kind of the number on the call sheet for the person. So obviously your like main person is going to be like number 1 on the call sheet in terms of like an actor. So if that system is in place, then that's kind of really useful. And then I try and roughly keep them in order. It's kind of fine if they change around a little bit depending on who's in. But just having that information there, I think, is really useful just to double check, especially if you don't know the sound of someone's voice by then, for instance, or you have 2 radios and the people are very close together, but you have the radios anyway for consistency, for the wide shot, etc., etc. And you can't quite tell because they're kind of talking into each other's labs who's on what channel or who's meant to be on what channel. Because sometimes you can actually find that a person who is sitting opposite a person, or if they're kind of in close proximity, it's actually picked up better on the other person's mic. So that's always kind of just good to check out as well. So that's a little intro to what I do for kind of metadata and sound reports. Always love to hear your comments, and of course like and subscribe. Thank you very much for that. And I'll see you tomorrow for another video. See you then.